Hi artists, it's Miss Coon, and today we're going to do a paper weaving project. Our I can statement is I can extend skills by individually following sequential steps. We're going to talk a little bit about weaving and what the vocabulary words are for this process. Weaving is a method of textile production that has two distinct sets of materials that are interlaced to form one piece. Weaving often uses a tool called a loom. A loom is a device that holds the weaving material in place and keeps tension to keep the shape. Weaving often refers to textiles using yarns or threads, but we are going to use paper to create our woven project today. When weaving, the materials that you're using are referred to as weft, which is the material that goes horizontal, or warp, which goes vertical. Okay, the materials that you'll need for this project today are some colored paper or construction paper, glue, a pencil, a ruler, and scissors. If you don't have a ruler, you could just use the straight edge off of another sheet of paper or a scrap of cardboard or something that you have around your house. It's okay if you don't have this. Okay, so your first job will be to pick a color for your weft and a color for your warp. And it doesn't matter which colors you choose. I'm going to choose, let's see, lime green and blue. And I'll put the rest of my paper to the side. I'm going to start with my warp and my loom, so I'm going to choose which one is my base color, and I'm using my lime green, and I'm going to put my blue to the side. Okay, the first thing that I need to do is fold this paper in half. So I have it vertically, and I'm going to pull the bottom to the top and press it flat. It's really important that you keep your opening at the top. It opens at the top and the fold is at the bottom. Keeping the opening at the top, I'm going to use my ruler or my straight edge, line it up on the edge of my paper, hold it in place, and draw a line. So I have a line at the top of my paper where it opens. Then I'm going to take my ruler, line it up under my horizontal line, and on the edge of my paper, draw a line that comes down. So I have a horizontal line and a vertical line. And then I'll keep lining this up on the line I just drew and draw a line that comes down, slide it over, line it up, line down, slide it over, line it up, down, and continue until I get to the edge of my paper. I'm using a ruler so that my strips on my warp are not too thin. If they're really thin, it's harder to get keep it neat and organized, I guess. So one of them might be a little thinner than the rest, and that's okay. So I have my opening at the top, horizontal line, vertical lines, and my folded side is at the bottom. So my next step is I'm going to keep the paper folded and cut on the vertical line until I get to the horizontal line, and the horizontal line tells me where to stop. So cut, stop, cut, stop, cut, stop, cut, stop. And again, your last one might be a little smaller, and that's okay. If it bothers you, you can just cut the skinny one off. So when you open it up, all of the strips of warp should be connected to your loom. So my loom is my device that's holding it in place. So this part of my paper is holding all of my warp together, and those are my vertical parts of my weaving. So I will take my color for my second one, and we're about to get started on our weft. Okay, so for my weft, my paper needs to be turned long ways or horizontal, and I'm going to use my straight edge again to draw vertical lines across my paper. And I'm using the ruler or my straight edge so that I can keep them roughly the same size. If yours are a little bit different, it's okay, but it is important that your paper is going the opposite direction of your loom. So I'm going to go all the way across and I don't have any lines that tell me where to stop. So when I cut these strips, I'm going to cut all the way across so that my strip of paper or my weft is completely separate. And I'll cut the rest of this out. Okay, now I have strips of paper for my weft, and I have a loom with my warp strips on it. I'm going to keep this section at the top, and I need to write alternating numbers to kind of keep my place. So I'm going to write 1, 2, 1, 2. Sorry, silly. This is going to be the back. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Now I'm going to weave my weft through, and it's going to go under the 1s first and over the 2s. So I'm going to pick up the 1, pick up the 1, pick up the 1, pick up the 1, and slide it all the way to the bottom until it stops. Okay, I'll pick a new strip of paper from my strips, and this time it needs to go under the 2s. So I'm going to skip the 1s and go under the 2s. Under the 2, under the 2, under the 2, and under the 2. And then I push it down, and you'll notice it looks kind of like a checkerboard, so it skips. It's under the first one and then over the first one. So when I go back, if I'm alternating and I go under the 1s then under the 2s, I'll go under the 1s again. So I look for all my 1s and I go under my 1s. And I'll speed this up so I'm not wasting your time watching me do this really slowly. But every time I pick a new weft, I'm going to change my number from 1 to 2. Okay, so I've woven all of my strips through that I can fit. You'll probably have some left over. So your weft is into your warp. It's all one piece now, and you have a woven piece of paper. My skinny strip was bothering me, so I cut that part off. But before you finish, there are these little tabs that stand up on the sides. I would do just a dot, not a lot, just a little drop of glue to hold them in place so that they don't fall out when you lift your art up. Okay, once you've glued all the little ends down, I like to use the side that I wrote the numbers on as the back so that no one sees the numbers, and the side without any writing on it as my front. I can't wait to see what you create. You can post photos of your art in the comments below this video, or you can email them to Miss Kuhn at amkuhn@auburnschools.org. Thanks. Bye.